I had more time at hand than what I thought I was going to just have, so let me check the audio. Meanwhile, I could have done it without turning on this mic. This is content. Holy fuck! What the fuck is this? Wait, what the fuck is this? White noise? What? There it is. Okay, I just need to wrap the cord, but aside from that, everything is fine. Okay. Damn, son, I got really anxious for a second. Okay, let me keep doing other stuff. I still have a thing to do. I forgot. Okay, here we are now for real. That didn't happen. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Oh, there is a mosquito. Anyways, once again, we're all of us here congregated on another beautiful night. Well, on my side of the world. And yes, this is incredible. Another stream after so much time without even touching the PC. Yeah. Skiddy, pop up. You know what? Yes, all I can really say is it kind of took me a little bit of time to get everything going. I think I was. Yeah, I spent like an hour setting everything. I should work on my process of having everything ready. But also, I do not like to automatize, or I wouldn't like to automatize every single part of this. But anyways, going on with what I was saying. Hello everybody, as always, hello dear lurkers, hello bot watchers, and now the real part. Hello hello bot, hello Ginkgo, hello myself, hello Saxter, hello everybody. Once again, a beautiful night, you know. So yes, okay, let me check. Do I have on this shot the redeems, or do I need to refresh? No, this one not. This one is both. Yeah, okay, there I have it. Okay, everything working. So, yeah, I still forgot about it. Wait, I didn't check the audio. Do I have fucking amazing. What a good start. Let me give me a second. Give me a second. Give me 1 second, please. I want to check the audio because I knew there is somehow white noise. Okay. No, okay, it is fine now, so we can do this without any problem at all. Well, it is kind of early, but you know what you do with your points, Ginkgo. So as always, thanks to you for coming. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your support, and also I hope whatever you are going for goes completely well. Thank you, really thank you. And I do not know if you can hear it or not, because I did it with one command. It supposedly wasn't heard, so I think it was heard. I am not so sure. Do not quote me on that. If it wasn't heard, I'm sorry, my dude. But anyways, yeah, I still was forgetting to things or about things that I had to do. And let me get this. I have the list here. So yes, as it says, tonight we have another list of things to go over. Another beautiful, wandering night. This goes over here. There it is. But also this bar point. What is it? Here. This is happening before anything else. Why? Because I finally had some apples today. So yes, so far, after the whole excitement and also kind of realization about the whole deal of things that was yesterday with the microphone and all of that, and yeah, more than anything else, getting, well, relaxing, more to say, from the whole experience of trying to go and buy everything and also trying to make it run and try to have everything as fast as possible ready. Today I had to, in a sense, take a break, not because I wanted, but rather because, yeah, I learned that even if I decide to go out and I think I am capable of surviving it, I really do not do well when I go out in such a heat. I was really suffering after going out in such a tremendous amount of heat, so I try to not be so dramatic about it, but I cannot really work with that. I cannot, after enduring such beautiful heat, I have to take, in a sense, a break. It isn't that I completely need, but rather that I should prefer to not overexert myself in that sense. And also, I am not so sure in the sense of there is a part of me that thinks probably the most influential thing in the whole, not being able to support correctly the heat and all of that comes from the part of, from the part of me that already has integrated that idea so deep in myself that it is almost a constant or a completely unchangeable part of my personality, so to speak. And not because I really want it, but rather because it is kind of as if my mind instantly goes back to that single idea. Whenever I go out, there is so much heat. Like, I shouldn't think I will be able to survive because I already have the experience of not being able to. In a sense, I don't think it makes complete sense in any way. But still, it is weird. I don't know completely. So yeah, that on one hand, on the other, today, why was it? Oh yeah, today I wanted to go out and to buy the. I only need an USB stick to make the USB audio synthesizer stick, to be more precise. And I only need that to make the whole microphone work, because the real problem was my PC's, or what, not my PC, my laptop is so outdated that it kind of automatically goes back to, or what, not automatically goes back, rather it never had the hardware installed or the drivers installed to take every single thing that is connected, I don't know, audio entrance, as something that is not headphones, because I think in a sense I almost damaged the microphone because I connected that to the PC. I play some music to test. When I saw that it was not working and something so funny happened from the microphone, there was sound coming from the fucking microphone. So I will even say I am pretty sure that thing is very damaging for the microphone itself. I am not an audio technician, so I wouldn't bet completely on that, but at least I myself, I wouldn't utilize something that was intended as a microphone as a speaker, or nor the reverse part. I don't know. I hope it didn't damage my microphone, and if it did, I cannot change that in any way. But yeah, aside from that, because I had to spend so much time today doing almost nothing, between waiting for some things and stopping to be with my family and all of that more than anything else. I, as I said, I didn't have the possibility of going out. Therefore, tomorrow I will go out and I will do it. I already know kind of a price that I will have to pay for that thing to work for the new USB stick. So, what I do not know if I will be. Well, no, I was thinking about it this way. Tomorrow I will probably get up. And the first thing that I will do is streaming because I need to stay awake. So I need to have something going on and entertaining me in a sense, so that I do not go crazy. So that will happen tomorrow. Not not early in the sense of normal schedule. Something like 5 a.m. EST or something like that. 6 a.m. EST at best. So I don't really know how much sleep I will have today, but I don't care. I need to go out, and also I need to not spend so much time outside because I need also to be at home kind of early to receive some packages that I need to unload from the truck itself, because well, it isn't a package, it is more like a frozen food delivery. So yeah, to unload all of that stuff on the house. Uh, well, what I have been, at least for today, thinking about was it really feels weird sometimes to notice how middle energy I end up being. Not really tired, not really full of desire to do anything. Kind of in a state where I will simply exist. And it is weird, I think. Today, specifically, it comes from the idea of not having done anything that I really wanted to do. So my mind kind of defaulted to the part of this whole thing that was simply, you know what, I will take it easy. I think it comes from there, but also I am not sure. And what? One thing that or well, wait, before moving on, I think I also have something more. Like, in reality, it comes from the. I talk about it, but it really feels sometimes like the fucking Chinese water rape torture method in the whole ordeal of this. So it reaches a point where you really become numb to the desire of doing anything. Because it isn't that you know things will keep happening if you do not put any effort at all, but rather it is the other side of this, like you kind of feel okay because you know that if even if in one day you fail to do something, it still keeps existing, so to speak. I don't think I am completely clear on that, but at the same time, I don't think anybody has a complete response as to why that is. Or at least not the people who I could get in contact with. Oh yeah, it is. This is something unrelated, yes, but I think I should create an email. I think I never have created a what is it, corporative or management email. So that has me, in a sense, puzzled, I would say, but I am not really worrying. It is more like saying it because I noticed that I shouldn't do it. So, yeah, giving my future self the chance of holding me accountable because I already said it. It isn't only something that I thought about, but rather something that I really, in a sense, desire to. And if I do not do it, it is more like a failure on my side than anything else. But well, something that really has been happening, and this has, as always, literal no correlation with what I was talking before. Is mm, well, I try to avoid it in the minimal possibility of somehow fucking up and saying something that because I am tiny content creator, um, what is it? Twitch decides to fucking ban me. So I hope the way that I say it is not, so to speak, punishable by Twitch, but I already talk about the part of the potato that has a lot of carnal desires. And the carnal desire that yesterday I fulfilled was really the part of when I went outside and doing some, let's say, half-path action. And it literally was just that. But I know that I take kind of a more analyzing approach on all of that things and all of those things, so to speak. It feels weird because you really notice that sometimes it it really changes a lot of who you are, but not in a bad way. Rather, it is almost as if a lot of different parts of the mind started to work, not completely, but in a way different. Not completely different, but in some specific ways different. And the hardest part of that is, in my case, realizing where it is. Because, well, that I could call myself accountable for, because I never checked the vote of yesterday. One of the biggest things that I could analyze. Mostly because I didn't also really delve into that whole idea by myself. It was rather a thought that I had in a certain moment of today. Yeah, in part because I still feel kind of funky, let's say like that. So I still try to be completely not aware, but rather conscious about how that stuff affects me. Because, oh yeah, this whole idea came from the realization that out of nowhere, one of the things that I had in my mind when I wake up was the desire to consume even more. And that, when you try to keep that whole consuming stuff at bay feels weird or feels almost dooming, because out of nowhere it appeared on my mind the desire to keep on and on and on. So I do not completely know, but at the very least, I would say that it was not damaging. That was the funniest part, because one of the most crucial parts, that the deepest part of the potato I fear was, of the potato heart I fear was the realization that it might not be so good for me. And I do not say it in a sense of gaslighting myself, but rather trying to see it from an outside perspective. I was completely able to function as a human being, even if I was under. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Bunkum, sorry. Yes, you had the first once again. Nobody. Wow. But yes, welcome, welcome. Right now, we are eating the apple, and we are literally rambling about random stuff. So, oh no, yeah, it says it itself. Burning points, nothing else. So, if people want to burn points, you can burn them. It was literally just to see how much time it will take, or if it will even happen. We did a little bit more than a half in 15 days, so I'm still amazed. And well, at the same time, I kind of understand it from the part of if what I am doing brings no real anything at all, why would I do it? So I am not saying that it feels bad to not have those points burned, but it is weird to see that so many people is able to completely ignore that. At first, I remember like the first 1 or 2 days, it was existing there. So many people really said, "Oh yeah, you know what? Time to work my 2K points," without even checking the rest of the redeems, because I know that for a fact the Geese redeem was invented like, let's say, 5 or 6 days after that goal was created. But even if that is true, there still are things that you will take advantage of if you really try to. I mean, I'm not saying it in a bad way. But well, I guess it is time for me to go back to what I was saying. Distraction, man. No, I do not want to self-analyze. No. Well, I guess I left it on the part of. I think it was on the whole being able to be completely functional, and I think it was there. If not, my mind decided to take me there. So, anyways, continuing from that part, then I would say it feels great to have the possibility of noticing that I could completely, or well, not completely, in a sense. I really had to exert mental, mental directioning over what I really was trying to do. That is always something that tires my mind out when I do some code smoke. So yes, that is a part that I do not really enjoy, but at the same time, when I go down from that experience, I really notice how easy it is when I do not have anything influencing my consciousness. Oh yeah, as I was saying, how easy it is to do that whole part of direction in my desires and all that. It feels weird because it is like sometimes almost with other, at least not directly named as harming to the body or to the mind or to the brain or anything like that, I achieve the same result as, you know what, I end up so tired and so, or well, not so tired, so affected by different parts of a day that I end up not being able to really concentrate unless I really put my mind into it. But if that is true, it also doesn't mean that it is bad. I think at the very end, the most important part is what you can always gain. And in my case, it feels in one hand bad, on the other great, because it still becomes a, a refuge for a part of myself to really distract me from other things. And even if that is true, it also reflects on the fact that I still need to create that with simply my mind, because it really, at least compared to what I understand, it literally just feels as if I were meditating, because it isn't like I stop being able to care about the world. It is rather the different perspective that opens by itself in my mind is what feels so weird. Because in a sense it almost sometimes get overwhelming how much overfocus the brain itself does on things. So yes, I thank you for looking. I guess it is great on one hand, but on the other there is that. If it were for me, I would do it, or I would. It isn't that if it were for me. In reality, I should start working on my thinking a little bit more. At the end of the day, I do not know if I really have great techniques or anything like that to really say that what I am doing right now is not as helpful as that. Okay. I have it, okay. I found it. I think the problem is because I decided to be so over rational on some different parts of the, the actual things that I do. The whole thing of meditating by itself becomes something that I do not do because by myself I think it is still rooted in some parts of not so actual science, when in reality I will even say there are a lot of proofs about how meditation really helps the body. So it is more likely, or more like, okay, I, it feels weird because what my mind said was the blame is to be on my childhood, in the part of when I was a kid. I really heard a lot of times, or what feels now a lot of times, how that whole invention more than anything else of meditation is really non-proven and non-helpful. So that's why it feels weird to have that knowledge, because there is almost a constant contradiction going on, or in my inner side of the unconscious, I will say, because I didn't really feel it that much, at least when I was just now talking about it. So I don't really know. I guess taking into consideration that specific yeah. Welcome, Jan Dyke. Yeah. Once again, we are meditating. Hello. I hope you're having a great day, night. I don't know what time zone it is, so whatever time zone you are in, I hope you're having it great. Mm. Mm. Helemaal. Thank you, Krankslak, for those points that you really warmed Eastern, as in, but which one? There are like 20 different Eastern times, you know? More like, what is it? 1 a.m., 3 a.m., uh, 6 p.m., I don't know. There are a lot of Eastern times, my man. But well, as I said, thank you. Ah, well, also, hello, Crankrack. Thank you for your points, Bournemouth. But more than anything else, hello. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, okay. I see we have, then, what time is it? We have 2 hours of difference. If it is like 11 with 5 minutes, 11 p.m. and 5 minutes, then we have literally 2 hours of difference. But well, just in case, so far we have really been just chatting about different things that came to my head because I think you can hear it a little bit. I am still eating the apple, so when I finish with that, we are really going to delve into the topics. Just in case they are, as always, in the chat. Uh, I could try to. Okay, we are going to try to specifically today. Let me. Text. Text. What? Text here. Text. Yeah. Topics. Let's say. Yeah. Make source visible. Okay. If I add it, will people be able to see it? Underscore F. Okay. Uh, okay. Let me see if I can create something cool. As always, more than anything else, it is to always give the possibility of if somebody has a question, they ask it before we get into any unreal topic. Because I do not know how to completely see it myself, or from the viewer perspective in that sense, because it is completely from the streamer perspective that I have it, but I think it comes from the part of not wanting to stop what I am saying, but saying that it feels kind of egotistical in a sense because at the end of the day, if you have a question, why wouldn't the streamer take its own time, stop for a little bit and answer whatever you are saying? Like, no real problem at all to do that. So that's why it feels weird to give that reason when trying to go for this structure and knowing that if I do not have the possibility sometimes of this segment, so to speak, and this block of time for people to hear about or to mostly ask different things after or later on when we are on the list of topics themselves, it doesn't happen. I don't know. I would guess. What I say is, let's go that I could have that. I don't know. Okay, let me search for the fonts that I know I could use. Fonts. Internet. It should be here, right? Things. Fonts here. Fonts. Which one I can use? Chuko could hablamos, muy right, my nerve. I think I never used my nerve. Fuck, my Myanmar. I used it. Wait. Okay, let me message this. I have used this. Right. Wait, what? Give me a second. Wait. Losing your train of thought can be a pain. Sometimes I get plenty of public speakers will say, the questions for us or something good. But of it, I wouldn't worry about. Fuck, I was going to ask to answer, so to speak. No. Wait, what? Why did you get an ad? We're not on an ad block. What the fuck happened? Are you still on ads? No. You a troll. That's why. That's what I will say. Anyways, okay. I mean, in one hand, I understand that, but in the other, for example, think about it like this. If you are a teacher, you kind of have to accept that your students will give you questions about the topic that you are speaking about. I think the only thing I kind of understand how to do properly is to divert the attention from end of troll questions that are made in the middle of a topic. But aside from that, if it needs to be delved into and it requires me to take some time to explain a certain part of a question that anybody has, I wouldn't mind doing that. At the end of the day, the possibility itself of asking something that might be beneficial to you is more important than to simply, so to speak, giving the topic itself, because at least on my case, when I asked a teacher something when they were giving a lecture, it was to have a better understanding about things that I ended up missing or parts that I didn't completely grasp. That was my case. I don't know if others do it like that, but I hope so. But anyways, just in case the mic doesn't pick it up, let me speed up the Apple part a little bit, because I think we're already we're spending a lot of time with the fucking Apple that way. Like, 40 minutes here. So let me speed this up. Yeah, at the end of the day, if I don't help those who come here, why would anybody really try to come? The most important part of this is to have the possibility of gaining something from what you hear. And if I myself kind of shoot in my own foot by saying, "Oh, you know what? If you have a question, shut the fuck up. Answer or ask that, and I will answer it later on." Unless I am in the middle of an explanation, no real problem to stop. But I think those who have come more than once kind of notice that when a question is asked, I tend to really stop for a moment, see what the question was, answer it, if it is on topic or not, or, well, if it isn't on topic, give kind of a simpler answer, and before starting to answer the question, I finish the sentence that I was saying. So yeah, I mean, the same thing that a teacher does, you know? If you see that your student is raising his hand, you keep going on until you can finish your sentence. And after that, at the very least, you give him, okay, wait a second, give me a second, I will answer that in a bit. And you signal that with your hand, but it isn't that you don't answer what they're asking. I mean, okay, it wouldn't be that useful having this kind of format and not asking the questions that you have. I mean it in that way. Okay, I am almost done with the apple, so let me finish this on. After that, we are really going back to the whole pondering. Okay, this. Let me go through the, as always, the apple heart, the so dear apple heart, and we will be back in a second. Apple, I don't know what to really tell you. I still haven't learned that much about apples, mostly because I don't find it really interesting. So I would say like this: a kind of very, very average apple, therefore a very good apple, a Swissy one. Well, yeah, that was the most outstanding part that it had. It was very, very Swissy compared to others, and also, what else? Something. Yeah, it wasn't so damaged outside, so it was a really good apple. Probably not a 7 out of 10, but more like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Or even, if we are really being pretentious here, a perfect apple, because it had literal no imperfection. So yeah, a good apple. Now, as I said, let me go through this. No, wait, let me mute myself now. You will hear me, peace, peace. Okay, I said it before, so before anything else, well, in reality, let me, well, I mean, yeah, it is kind of an obligatory thing to have a platonic apple, because you cannot really rate every single apple as completely bad. It makes no sense to expect every apple to be the best. Therefore, if you already kind of know who an apple is going to be, why not take it from there than to really worry about anything else? Let me do it like this black. I will guess a color like this one will be gray. Or more like this. Is this really yellow? Okay, this properties. It should have an outline here. Okay. Oh, what black? No, black. Select color. Choose black here. Okay. Here. Okay. Where do I place this? That is the only question I have. Where do I place this text? Well, aside from that, topics. Okay. No, I need to open properties here. Skip now. Copy. This, and let me remove this. Beep. And also, why the fuck does text have anti-aliasing? What? No, I do not need anti-aliasing on text. What? What? I do not need that on text. Anti-aliasing, yeah. We need that. We need anti-aliasing on text, you know. I think, okay, if I have it here, can we see it on the stream itself? Let me... Okay, I can see it on my screen, so it is a lie that you can't see the text by yourself. You are fucking lying if you say that you can see it. The only thing I need to know is what I need to lower this a little bit over here just in case. Now, yeah, I wanted to see. Can I somehow strike into text or something like that? Wait, what? What? What text? No, shut up. I know that you can see it. How do I strike this text? Chat log. Stone. I don't know how to strike with key bindings. I guess I can do it, but I still do not know how to do that. It literally is still the same as nothing. So how do we go about that? Do I search for a text? Okay, it doesn't take that much. Striking text. I hope it is supported by this formatting. Strike through. Yeah, strike through. Wait, no, this is a different font, I think. Let me test. Hello, test. Potato test. Let me copy this code to clipboard here. Properties. This, and I might place it here. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, it is a different text format. Fuck. And what font is this one? Well, this shouldn't have any kind of problem. What font is this one? We can change to this font. Which font is this one? That's the problem. The most normal kind of font. The predetermined kind of font. Which one is it? Two little brackets. Yes, maybe, instead of doing anything else, maybe, probably. It makes kind of a little bit of sense, you know? Yeah, let's do it there. Probably. There it is. Okay. Who looks an X? Okay. Well, there isn't that much of a difference, so I can do an X. A simple X, okay? The only kind of wait, can we see the part that is on the topmost? Let me, okay, properties. Sorry, here, gradient, opacity, background. What the fuck do we have now? Okay, it wasn't that one. 2, 3, 4, 5. With 5 you should see it, right? What the fuck? Oh, I understand why it had anti-aliasing. Holy moly. Yeah. Holy moly. Let me text topics. Let me move that. Wait, transition. It still looks bad. I hate. Okay, we will do it like this. There it is. You can kind of differentiate the parts that are a little bit more on the white part. Yeah. Okay. We have this here. No, I should only have or need to have here. This here. Okay, we're fine. Now, finally, onto the real things. What really matters today. We're going to go over different topics. The first one that we are going to do like this. Okay. Anyways, shut up, brave. Timestamp is 52:13. Ability. after this now, third it is, my friend, now the real important part is this. The first topics, or the topics of the night. And the first topic is, as always, how everything is connected. Beautiful. This one, preface of the topic itself. The idea didn't come from anywhere in particular. It is kind of something that you can really notice when you try to analyze different things, or when you have a lot of different sources. You see how common it is to, so to speak, have in general, in a sense, a lot of different concepts, also ideas, or rough sketches, and also ideas, inventions. That was the other part. Specific inventions that are not always a constant through different existences of or instances of humanity. Let's say it that way. And in this particular case, we are going more than anything else to focus on the side of this that can be helpful for somebody who doesn't, or who is not so aware of that. Because we could go on a ramble like, this happens, and blah 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 blah, when in reality the most important part isn't that it just only happens. It is more like, if it happens, what it means, and what we could try to take advantage for. And not only that, because there is another side to this, and that is because everything in a sense is connected. This will already talk about specifically how you could take advantage of different practices, knowledges that you have, and all of that, common things that we already discussed, in a way that will really be useful for anything that you're trying to go for. Because, as it says here, every single thing is connected. The problem might be how to figure that out, but that also is going to be a thing to analyze in this particular moment. So, on to the topic itself. After the preface, how everything is connected, we could really start from the idea that whatever we are trying to practice comes from an higher concept, so to speak. The easiest part, going going more than anything else for the route of, you have the possibility of making your job easier. Therefore, why might you not make it easier when you have that possibility? Going for the idea of whatever you are working on will be made easier, you need first and foremost to see where that practice that you are doing, that idea that you are trying to go for, that different work where you are using your time and your energy on, is really good, was really created for, was really invented in. Why? Because the basic part of the concept of how everything is connected lies on the idea that as long as you understand the roots of a thing, you can also start to analyze those roots who are very, very, very close to this, or those different parts, different techniques, different ideas, different ideologies, whatever it is, that also emanated from that particular route. The problem in this case is taking the time to go there, because even if everything is connected, it doesn't mean that everything is easily accessible in the sense of understanding its story, its real, or more like origins, its whole creation and process, until you can, so to speak, see where is it that you are now compared to its first forms. So if you have the possibility, you should always try to go for that. Why? As I said before, the easiest part, or the easiest advantage that you gain from doing that, is to acknowledging that whatever you were going for ends up being really useful to you. Sometimes it is not so easy, because, as I said before, on the other hand, not every single thing, even if all of the subjects that any human could come up is in any real way related to something else, not every single thing is by itself easily connectable to others. But the really important part is also to see how much you're willing, and you're really desire to go in depth, so to speak. Because if the outcome is in a sense unknown, you could even say sometimes that you do not even fathom how much you will end up really gaining from the experience itself that you're having, the knowledge yourself that you're holding, and the parts of this process yourself that you're really refining, so to speak. Or well, I tend to say more than anything process in this case, because the most traceable things are commonly different processes. So yeah, as I said before, it is applicable to a lot of different concepts. It does not only come from there. So yes, it is kind of an easy way for me to say it, a bias, if we have to give it a name. But well, going a little bit more on this. Why? Okay, after a little bit of water, why would you do that if you could gain anything from that? Sorry. Because sometimes we might not have the real possibility of understanding that we might gain something, or we could allow the idea of whatever we're refining might not really be that much upgradable, so to speak, might not have that much more to make better, to give even more quality than before. The problem lies in this particular case, a problem because it is not a reality. The problem itself lies on the acceptance that something could be perfect. At least for now, for the last 2000 years, unless we are talking to the most profound kind of things that really take years and years and years to develop, anything that you yourself are doing, in a sense, will never reach a state of complete perfection. It might be unparalleled, but that is not the same as perfect. Because even the flaws themselves make something look incredibly beautiful compared to lower forms of that same art or that same process. So yes, in a sense, it also shows that it really is useful to understand the possibility of growth on every single part. Therefore, the desire to keep working and finding more ways to keep making it even more, not efficient, but rather proficient. Yeah. And also there is another side of this that in a sense is kind of the opposite. If what you have is very proficient by itself, you can also learn how much you can take from that specific concept and apply that to other fields, and start seeing how that specific tool that you created could be used on other parts of your life, how that specific concept that you have already accepted in your mind could start being useful in other not so understood problems that you yourself might be having. The problem itself is knowing how much you will really need, or how much time it will really take you. But if you're able to take it, and if more than anything else you're really willing to go down that route, you will always gain. But well, it isn't a but in this case, it is more like and the process itself will take time. That is the only thing in a sense that really is hard to convey, because no process that really has effort behind it is immediate. You could say every single thing that we try to work on requires time investment more than anything else. It might not be so much compared to the efforts in some cases, but the important part of this whole idea is to comprehend that whatever you are going for will take time. We do not have to approach the idea of becoming better, or in a sense trying to find in different theories in different fields of knowledge, something that could be useful to what we already are using, what we are already developing, what we already have, so to speak, a sense of immediateness. Because as I said, everything takes time, and in the case of you accepting that idea as a reality, you might find yourself troubled when that time runs out. But, okay, if in one hand that is true, in the other, it also is true that you might create, so to speak, a time limit. Because something very funny for the human brain is to see how much we like to do when we are constrained, so to speak, by different reasons, different manners, different anything. Why? Because one of, at the very least, for those who really know how to express themselves, is a desire to prove whatever it is they have in front that are telling them something is impossible wrong. In this case, if you're given a time limit, you might even become more proficient at what you are doing. In the case of researching how everything is really connected to the practice that you have, how everything might be useful to what you are already doing, how something in particular might end up giving you an edge over those who do not understand this particular field that you decided to delve into. That all of that could be true even in a heightened sense if you impose on your person, so to speak, a limit, a more clear limit, a more clear time limit. Why? Because as I said, if you know that, well, let me go back for a second, because there is a true in that, and there is also a lie in that. If you think that whatever you are going to do is useful, but you do not know, or well, if you know that your efforts are going to be useful no matter how much you research, you will also end up procrastinating. Therefore, it doesn't mean that, okay, it means that before doing that, you should also have a kind of, knowledge about how much time you are really going to spend doing the things that you are not doing, learning about the different fields that you're going to spend your time researching on more than anything else. Because if you allow the mind by itself to go to those particular fields where by nature the mind tends to really divert and get distracted by whatever it is, you will also not, it doesn't mean that you will not progress, but you will also spend time unwisely. Because if you have the time constraint, as long as you're able to come up with at the very least a 1% improvement, you might get satisfied with that. So creating a time constraint doesn't mean that as long as you get a minimal advantage, you're fine. It is more like, if you understand what the fear of having a time constraint means, you might do that. If you do not understand that, you might not try to spend your time with that specific part of the idea, because it might end up being more harmful than anything else. But, okay. Well, just in case, I think I didn't say it clearly enough, but as I used the analogy of a route that ends up diverting into a lot of different fields for the idea of concepts being interrelated. I will guess a very particular good example would be, for example, yes, a good example would be, for example, sorry, a good metaphor will be something like, if you understand how interconnected are the streets in a city, you can see how to get from one point to another more easily. If you do not even know how to get from point A to point B, you might even as well think that those two different points in the same city are not even related or are not even accessible one to the other. It only takes time for you to learn how to drive yourself in the city, but get fucked. No. But well, as I was saying, It only takes time for you to really drive yourself around properly and to understand the different streets and the different, not only streets, but so to speak, okay, let's say like this, not only the streets themselves, because it might refer to the simple idea of a street that you could draw in a map, but rather the specific grounds that you're going on, the specific pavement that you're walking, the specific dirt, the specific grass, the specific any more observable matter that you are really going from one side to the other. Or even a more clear example would be if you do not know in a completely broad, so to speak, field how to get from point A to point B, you might not even know that they are related, as I said before. But if, in the other hand, you see that there is always a pathway, there is always a route to take, and there is always time to invest into those different parts, you also might learn how incredibly useful it is for you, or it is for you to really try and go for it. Not every single time you will really find the best way, but as long as you are able to find something that really shows you a different route to take, and you can also integrate that in your life, again, you're always winning in that sense. Well, I don't think I really have something else to say, just in case. Ending it even more positively. The simple fact that you understand that, or that you understood what I said, in a sense, really might show you how that applies so much in reality, because sometimes we really like to think what we are doing is so particular, but in reality, what ended up driving us to do the different things we are doing might be as a really objectively individual, down to the core of itself. But the activities themselves might not be, or it isn't that they might not, they might as well never be, let's say like this. So please, as long as you're able to see that in that light, you will always have that kind of possibility of gaining an advantage over those who do not. Let's say like this, if you want to be competitive. And if you do not want to be competitive, but rather be helpful to everybody else, you might as well teach them that idea, so that everybody can keep progressing. And in the possibility of being able to talk with others in the same field of expertise as you might also even find those who can give you even different ways to approach the same concept, or even more development. So yeah, that's it. And this time for real. Now 1, 11, 20. Everything is connected. Okay, I keep writing it incorrectly. So don't let fears stop you from being creative, because even in the worst case, you might learn something valuable, even if it isn't clear how right now. Plus, you would enjoy a novel experience. Is that right? Yes, basically, in a sense, it is not only that. You also find different things that you might have never found light or a speck of improvement on what you really have an interest, if you really approach them with the idea of finding something. On the other hand, it is also true what you said, that you really need to keep going on and on whatever you're deciding to do, because well, that is in one hand kind of different, because yes, you need to always keep at what you are deciding to improve on. If you do not improve on them, you might as well not even find success on what you're really trying to go for. So yes, I think that is a good conclusion to say. Let me think. Or well, more questions. Literally, no problem. Answer. What I will do is let me take water. Water. Very tasty. I fucking love water. Okay, this is then. If we do not have any more questions, I will move on. Are we fine with that? Shall I move on? We have no question at all. I'm going crazy. No, that is not. I am not going crazy. Sorry. Yeah. Water. Here. This. Here I had it. It was on the chat. I am incredible. There it is. Then now I come to here and mark it with the next. Also, I never checked. Was this being instantly fucking god? Do not tell me that it is still unreadable text. Oh no, okay. I for a moment I got preoccupied. Fucking god. Okay, we are fine. We are fine, my brother. Also, I tried to see the audio and I got blasted. Why is it so loud? Why is there so much static? Let me get this lowered just in case, because I think it has nothing to do with anything else, but at the same time it has to do. Yes, why is this a no that I do not understand this shit. But anyways, what? I mute myself when I touch that. This is incredible. Wait, I am muted now? No, do not tell me that. I am going to go crazy here. What the fuck? What? Okay, I increased the music now. I do not understand shit, yeah? This... What? I do not understand shit. What is this microphone, my brother? Does this work now? Okay. This is... Now this is constantly loud, but we do not have static noise. Noise. Anyways, moving on. Fucking god. Okay. Shut up, potato. Yeah, feral. Fucking feral. Properties. Yes, here. Let me keep it right on this one. Here. How everything is connected. Move the self. Oh yeah, the self versus the rest. Interesting approach. And well, in this case, I think we could take it from the perspective of what we were talking about. So a little bit of preface. I had always that idea because, in a sense, when you learn, or well, when more than anything else, you try to become, in a sense, better, you find constantly yourself reminded of the concept that you might not be so particular. In some senses, it isn't that nobody is completely equal to others, but they are still humans, so to speak. I kind of said it on a fucking tweet today. Very resume idea. At the end of the day, even if we have a lot of quirks that make us different from one another, in another sense, we are still humans. So that is the idea of this. Now, preface that the topic itself is the idea comes from the realization sometimes that you might find your own mind enveloped so much on, so to speak, ego and so much self, not love, but self engagement, so to speak, but you only find an allowance for those things that are related more than anything with your particularities, I think we could say. Why? Because I do not completely have at this point in time the real response or the more than a simple theory, but I find it very interesting to see or to allow the idea of probably it comes from the part of the humanity that you have that really likes to tell not only the self but rather to those who are also around us how incredibly unique they do things, and it not only comes from, so to speak, this point in time at everybody's life, but rather because we really find ourselves or we really find in ourselves the desire of really being told that we are completely uh, different to others, when in reality, in this case, we are going for the approach of it might not be so bad to be equal to others. At the end of the day, we're not talking about being equal in the sense of you are equal, therefore you are more acceptable, or you have to be equal to others because if you are not, society will not let you in into their different circles. No, 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 no. This is not the message. This is, or well, the message itself in this case is the idea of if you notice how much you are diverting from the social construct itself that is the human, you might find in your mind, in some places of it, the idea itself lying around of you are incredibly unique. When, as I said before, the really important part is to accept and to grasp, to have it at hand, and to be able to really stretch it as far as you can, that sometimes we are not so simple in one hand, and that, as I said, is in one hand. In the other, it also is incredible to see how many completely unique individuals come together to different things. This is more like a observe, yeah, an observation from an outsider, let's say it like that, because a lot of times you find people that will have no real reason at all, aside from the desire of working on whatever field they are working on, no real reason, no real desire, no real anything that will connect them when, okay, for example, okay, somebody who spent their whole life driving a motorcycle, being, so to speak, one of those date angels, and somebody who, on the other hand, was a clinical doctor, might end up coming together to try and, in this case, for example, form a band. Let's go for one of the simplest examples, form a band, something that unites people with completely different backgrounds a lot of times, where you find so many individualities that come together to create something that really shows you it is possible to have individuals being still recognizable one from the other in very, 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 so to speak, tight-knit communities or so intertwined things. Because at the end of the day, for example, a band requires an active effort of how many, how many players there are, how many musicians there are in the band itself to create a coherent song and to create something that could be understood by whoever it is that goes to hear it. So in this case, we kind of say that even if you accept that sometimes you are not so different to others, you also have always the possibility of, at the end of the day, so to speak, finding those things that make you different and finding those things that really show you that yes, you still are an individual. You still are in the sea of consciousness that is society, you. Because I will say like this: if you also allow yourself to be completely grasped by the other side of this idea, that is, you can also immerse your your body, so to speak, your mind, in the reality of being social, you might end up being lost. But it also is something that you can save yourself from. It it doesn't mean that you can only go from one side completely to the other, so to speak, from being an individual to being part of the society. It means that you can be both. And I do not think that there should be any kind of dread, because you know that. I wouldn't say, I hate to say it, so let's say it in a different way. I wouldn't say that because you know this particular idea, it becomes dangerous for you to end up deciding to go any side of those two realities. It only shows you that it is always possible to live in the middle if you strive for it long and carefully enough. The problem itself in this case is how much you are willing to strive for. Because I will take into account what we are talking about. That is also an effort that you actively do. And if you do not notice that existing in your life, and if you do not decide to take that certain matter by hand, you might never find yourself being successful. You might always find you completely submerged on one side of this coin, that is to being completely egotistical, being completely you, or being completely we, the society. So yes, that I think that is the really dangerous part. If you do not know that, what might happen to you, not the act of knowing this. So yes, I think that's it. In this case, I do not have much more to say, because it, I hope I was able to convey it as well as it appeared on my mind when I thought about it for the first time. Because it really, in a sense, feels completely comprehensible in the sense of an idea that you could really put in a few words. In this case, I do not mean every single idea is like that, but in this particular case, you know. So let me see. Did we? Okay, there is. We changed the x, or we changed the 3 points to the x. So let me now make the timestamp. Unless we have a question. If not, or if we have a question, I will drink some water to give it at some time for the question to be formulated. And if we do not have anything else to be asked in this case, let me move on. Water. Wait, I did this, so timestamp should be around 25:14. One 25:40. Okay, there it is. Let me save this for a second, because where the fuck is the microphone? Okay. Why the fuck do I have two microphones on this and one doesn't even work? What the fuck? I don't know. Anyways, let me get the list once again, because I was just testing something here. Dedicating to what we want. Dear topic of the night. I don't think it should be that hard hitting, but I hope it really has a great outcome. I think, okay, the brief is more from a personal perspective. When I was learning about the amount of effort that it really takes to achieve what we want, I say that I hope it isn't so hurtful, because when I realized, in my case, how much I was really not paying attention to this, well, not only to this, my different goals in life, I found myself really kind of destroyed, because it. Okay, well, that is the free preface. Let me just in case check audio. And after that, we're moving on to the subject itself, because it really is important to, in a case or in a sense, understand this. Now, topic: why it is important to dedicate to the goals that we want, and how it is that in this case somebody is reminding you that it is important, because this starts from the self-realization or the self-analyzing, in a sense of how much you're really spending your time, how much you're really using your time on those things that you want, and how much you really are invested in the things that you say are goals to you. Because something very funny to see from an outsider perspective in this case is those people who end up telling others they are really working on something, when in reality are doing is creating dreams and making dreams and creating an extended and completely well developed narrative around things that they are not working on. We could even say like this: sometimes their dedication or their goal is to create such a sedating dream that the act of engaging on it is more satisfying than the act of working for the goal itself. There is people like that even, and that is incredibly funny to see from the outsider's perspective. But going back to the self-realization, sometimes you really have to see and you really have to understand that it hurts, yes, but you might not be really putting that much time into those things that you yourself know you want. You yourself having in hand and having in mind and have it in front of you as something that you really want to be able, not for the sake of the different rewards that it has, but even sometimes for the simple act of doing it, that you want to say you did those things. And in this case, there is only one problem, and that is this applies to every single field on life. Because you cannot say if your goal is to be rich, if your goal is to have a car, if your goal is to get a girlfriend, if your goal is to be no more someone who is socially awkward, if your goal is to care more about what others tell you, if your goal is no. It is not about one specific goal. It is about every single goal. That is the problem with this idea, because it really, if it applies to you, it might really carve deep into yourself to realize how much it applies to you, to really find it, in a sense, to be not a truth, but something that might be something you have to work on, and something that might ring a bell in your mind to see that, and now into, so to speak, a solution, how much you will end up working on, how much you will end up losing your sleep, how much you're going to sacrifice out of your time for entertainment, time for more delightful things, time for those parts of life that might not be really that much of a simple treat, but rather those things that are also part of the goal, and that is the process itself, where you might be hard, but if you do not complete or if you do not work on those parts of the process of the goal, you might as well not even be going for the goal. You might as well, as I said before, from the outsider perspective, be creating a narrative where the only thing that you are indulging in is the satisfaction that it brings to you, the possibility of going for that goal, nothing else. So yes, in a sense, it is weird to hear it from somebody else, because a lot of times we do not find ourselves to not be doing our best, because at the end of the day, something that is completely common for the human is to tell us, or not to tell us one to each other, to tell ourselves, to tell in our own minds that we really need to be, for example, taking some time out, really need to be having as much freedom as possible. We really need to not be really going as hard as we can to achieve those things that we know we want. When in reality, not in our minds, in the reality, the goals themselves, and as I said before, will not be done or will not be achieved by others, even more if you are not a kid. Because, for example, unless you are creating a reality and you are working for that reality where everything out of nowhere comes together to give you a possibility or to give you a certainty of after every single event that also involves others and their individual efforts for you. If unless that is true, it only shows that you're relying on the satisfaction that brings the voidness of randomness or the emptiness of the random parts of reality, because that is in a sense weird to see. That is the thing that really hurts the mind. That is the part that really distracts you. The okay, video game example, the gacha rather than the actual grind, the possibility of out of nowhere gaining a complete and utter advantage over those who didn't got lucky as you, when in reality real goals require real effort. If your goal is to create something based on luck, you might as well also be indulging on the idea of obtaining the satisfaction itself only of the randomness and kind of sedating yourself on the desire also of, or not on the desire, on the lie of every single time that you fail, you get closer and closer and closer to the goal, because randomness is completely undomitable. Reality and things that really require effort are not. So that is why also it is possible to lie yourself in that sense. But on the other hand, to not end it so badly, sorry. On the other hand, it also shows you that if your goals are as clear as a day to you, you might as well have, at the very least, somewhere where you can start from, and somewhere where you can really say, okay, this is my first piece, this is my so to speak, my place of starting, my start point. Yeah, that was the word. my starting point. This is where I should move on if I already started. And something that is very funny is to see that we undermine our own efforts by over focusing on the goal itself rather than the different achieves that we get through time, that really make the effort itself become more and more of a reality. Because I think that is one of the few parts that comes from the whole idea of not really knowing how much of an ego is good to have or not. Because if you are not able to take pride on the things that really took you time, instead of being able to keep your efforts going because you know the things that you are working for are also in a sense interrelated and all of them creating a communal existing backlog, so to speak, and a supporting foundation for your own goal. If all of those things are not appreciated enough, will also not find in you yourself the desire to keep going. It is completely impossible to find in yourself the desire to keep going if you have no way not only to prove yourself, but to also the moment that you get asked by an external factor if what you're doing is working or not, the possibility of saying that what you did really showed to be something worthy. So yes, I think that is a good way to end this particular thing. But as always, I should say it metaphorically. If somebody has a question, we might as well spend as much time as we need. If there is no question, then we will, in that case, really move on. So, let me let me take some water. Igual, I think I will. We're going to do this. I will mark the X here, but I will go to the bathroom before doing the stamp itself. Let me, fucking god, let me go to the bathroom. Give me a second, give me a second, give me a second, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Oh, sorry. Michael, okay, so I need to keep. Let me there. Let me get here also. Microphone. Are we on? Oh, yes. I want to hear myself. Is there a white noise? No, there doesn't seem to be white noise. Okay, there is no white noise, right? There is no. There is not. Okay, there is not white noise. Perfect. Then moving on. Timestamp itself is, let me see, 140. 40, how much? 140 and 50, let's say 140 and 40. The topic that I was that much. Okay, we are moving on to the last topic of the day, mostly because thanks to God, I didn't take that much time. In one hand, because in the other, it really took me some time, more than anything else, because it really shows that some topics are not so easy to develop in a short span. But anyways, even if that is true, it doesn't mean that it is bad to take down. Yeah, last topic. Well, yeah, it feels weird, man. The last topic is kind of clickbait, but anyways, getting better at rambling. In a sense, yeah, it happens. Okay, I could give you the real reason, or I could give you lies. What do you prefer? And I could also, after that, give you kind of use that whole shtick as an introduction, you know. So let me, whatever you want, let me before. Yeah. Let me give you the lies. That is why I got better at rambling because I practice a lot of English. I practice. I became better at speaking. No, the reality itself is two things. The first one, the kind of most helpful one is because I learned that it is important to not have a 1 hour stream, so I decided to make them at the very least, if it is possible, 2 hours. On one hand, and in the other, I I am somebody who speaks another language first and who knows a lot of language better than English. So I always came here with in my mind the idea that I was not so able to really speak correctly. And in in the acceptance of whatever my message is going to be, might as well not be completely understood. Even if I speak as properly as I can, I might as well just speak, however it comes out. So yes, it was more like I stopped caring in reality about the whole idea of I need to be concise and as precise as possible. I might as well go on a ramble, and I think as with any single topic, I might as well go around the topic itself like 20 times in every single minute. I might as well kind of start from zero, explain the topic itself once again, and after that move on to another part of the topic, or take it from another perspective, or things like that. But it wasn't that I have no desire to be speaking, so to speak. But yes, in a sense, it also feels great. Oh well, yeah. The only thing I really kind of care is the part of me not being so understandable to those who are not accustomed to me speaking English, because I know that not only my accent but my speech patterns by themselves are not so understandable. I know that I do not modulate enough on whatever language I am speaking, but that is another completely unrelated thing, and that is something that I could even fix if I pay enough attention to that. So it isn't that I cannot speak correctly, it is rather that I do not take enough time for that to happen. But yes, that is the whole explanation of, and also because well, there is a deeper one that I didn't have in mind until now that I started playing. I lost a lot of the possibility of rambling by itself, so to speak, going from what my brain itself finds interesting to talk about, as I did in the first hour or so of this stream, when I created the list of topics to speak about. Because, as I said before, even if I know in a sense what I am going to talk about, and I also have to develop them even more and more and more when I am talking about them, I still have a very basic concept about what I will speak about. In the case of completely free rambling, it is, as I said before, going from one thought to another in a non-structured way. So that is also something I wanted to have more. And if it also fits the the thing of having at the very least 2 hours of stream, I might as well integrate that here. It doesn't mean that every single stream will be 2 hours. On the other hand, because it is impossible for me to have every single stream to be 2 hours, at least right now. The only problem is, oh fuck, no, the self-realization of my own lack of commitment. If I were to start at the first hour, as I have it here on the Twitch description, it says 10 or 11 p.m. I said I am 3 or 4 p.m. and 10 or 11 p.m. If I were to start on the first hour, I would kind of always be able to stream for 2 hours at the very least. But it also shows that I lack the capabilities of really starting out of nowhere. So yes, the self-judgment started. So now we shall move on. Let me drink some water. I do not want to be here anymore. Water. Get me out. So well, now the real topic itself. Okay, we will take it, as I said before, from the preface of I even did it here, and it shows a lot of times that you can lie and not really hurt the other person as long as they do not know that you're lying. Because a lot of times the things that hurts more than anything is the realization that others lie to you, not the lie itself. Because well, it is kind of obvious, but the lies try to be as non-hurtful as possible. As I said to you, I give you the possibility of choosing between a lie or a truth. So you choose a lie. And also, even if you didn't choose a lie, in that case, I was going to give you a lie for this particular example. But that is what I was trying to refer. A lot of times, if you do not know that you are being lied to, you find it to be more effective in some cases. The lie itself is more soothing than the reality. And we are not taking this from the point of you should lie on every single occasion that you are given. This is not the idea itself. The idea itself. And now into the topic itself. There are certain things that might require your efforts, your active lying efforts, to be put forward for the act, so to speak, of getting things going correctly to a certain extent where, in this case, as the title itself says, the objective is to achieve peace. Therefore, if what you find by lying is that you are achieving peace, you might as well try to lie. If you are trying anything else, for example, because the problem is there is a certain very specific definition that we are going when we talk about lying here to achieve peace. Peace doesn't refer to you being okay with your lover because you lie to them about not having an affair with other person, you being okay with your family because you told them that you are not taking any kind of substances, not that kind of peace, the kind of peace where every single body is completely okay, where not only you benefiting and where only you avoid getting something bad happening to you, but rather where everybody gains something. And also in this case, it doesn't apply the the easiness that comes into a room when you decide to lie, and when the lie itself also gives the others easiness. Because, for example, your family wouldn't probably want to know that you take drugs, you use substances. So you lie to yourself, in this case, saying, you know what, I will tell them that I do not take anything, because if I were to tell them, in this case, I will probably have an easier life and they also will have an easier life. No. We're not talking about that kind of lie. We're talking about the point of view that requires you, or that gives you the possibility of. It is kind of weird to say it, but the best narrative is always, if there is a war, if the war itself can be solved by lies, and after some times the lies themselves can be unveiled to the public and the war not be, so to speak, continued or reignited, it means that in that case you achieved peace. Why? Because you created an ambient so correct enough, but after revealing the truth themselves, it was as equally good as it was when in that case you lied, and when in that case you, so to speak, strive for the peace. It doesn't mean that you should always keep the, or well, it is kind of the opposite. It means that you never should, yeah, fucking kind of a dense sentence, but it means that you should never only lie. It means that if you lie, you also have to bear the responsibility of, after lying, telling the truth. That is something fucking dense, but yes, it means that if you're lying, it should be for a cause, no fucking shit. It should be for a reason, or it should be for an objective that, after revealing the truth, after engaging in the act of revealing the truth, probably in a very delicate manner, it becomes equally or even better than when you lie. So that is where the biggest problem of this whole idea lies. Because how do we achieve that? In this case, I would say you really need to be judgmental about how you lie, because it is not the same to say, for example, okay, example, let's go to the idea of if your family asks you about you taking substances, and, and you say, no, no, mama, I never took anything in my whole life, and you know that you're lying, and because you are lying, when you get discovered, you are really not, or not only you are going to get punished by what you did, but also you are going to get punished by the lie itself. In that case, you really know that you have no possibility of achieving a solution or getting something out of revealing the truth in any point in this case. But let's say like this: if when you have two sides of one perspective, or well, two opposite factions constantly going at each other. For example, if you as an outsider approach a relationship where both sides find themselves constantly warring and constantly attacking each other because they always want to be the one that wins, you might as well approach them with the idea of lying to them and with the idea of slowly making themselves comfortable in the realization that in that relationship the best thing is to strive for a certain sense of, and this is also hard to say, but a certain sense of acceptance over things, not only the desire of only having you yourself the correct perspective on everything, but rather an acceptance over the things that are there in the relationship itself. So in this case, it really might require from you a lot of time and a lot of effort to go over that and to fucking mosquito, give me a second, and to also find yourself being the mediator in a problem that, after revealing slowly and surely the reality itself through manners that might really require you some time. Because, for example, in relationship therapy, one of the best things to do is to slowly introduce the concepts and the different points of views that one side has to the other from a completely outsider perspective. Because the most common thing, at least for the average person, unless, as I said before, unless you are completely unique, it also applies to you, is to find that you are not worrying or you are not fighting the other because what they are saying by itself is bad. Because, or it is rather that you're fighting them because there is such a lentous and there is such an incredibly big backlog of things that also made you get slowly or a tiny bit angry, that the whole accumulation of that, when that specific problem arises, ended up making you explode. So the best thing to do in those cases, as I said, is to present it as if it was another completely outsider who said that. And if you see that both sides have a good reaction to the things that they are saying, you can slowly approach them with the idea of, but what if it wasn't a random? What if it was your lover who said it? What if it was your familiar who said it? What if it was that person? After they accepted the reality of it is okay to hear this. After they accepted that, and after they have that knowledge, they might move on to the next phase of being, but was I kind of judgmental about what they were telling me in a bad way, instead of really helping them in anything? And slowly, surely, in a way that really works, not only for you who lied, but also for them who accepted that lie, so to speak, because it isn't completely a lie. It is something that carries a little bit of truth. It is a bitter truth that can be change later on to the truth itself that really achieves peace. So yes, I don't know. I think I will prefer to drop it there to not get it even more complicated in this case, because I know it is by itself already a complicated topic. More than anything else, because it really requires you to be deeply intertwined in the manners of, or in the interest of, so to speak, finding or having a, in the desire of solving others' problems more than anything else. So yes, I think that is the best conclusion. You really need to see that what you're lying for is worth enough. Because if what you're lying for is only for the sake of yourself, or only also for a lie that you created in your mind of everybody will be better if I lie, you are not doing it. There is not a real reason to lie. There are real reasons to lie, but not every single one of them is as good as you think they are. So yes, that is the topic. 158. And what, just in case, I don't think it is that needed, but just in case. If you lie, it means, in this case, that you accept that later on you will need to reveal the truth. It isn't that you lie because you will never reveal the truth. No. You lie in these cases to later on reveal the truth, not to never reveal the reality itself. So yes, nothing more than that in this case, in this particular case. So, well, I think the only thing that kind of has me worried is, did the mic already go back to having a lot of static noise? Let me hear. No, okay, it is fine. Somehow it is still fine compared to what it was before. So, well, in a sense, today we really brought it to a conclusion without that much of a problem. So, let me check what I don't think I have anything else to say, so let me hide this, transition to this. Okay, very good to see that also I found a way to implement the list of topics itself on the, on the stream, because I am not so sure as if it was really that impactful, or if I ended up making a bigger deal than what it really was. But I think it is important to have it from the viewer perspective, because I do not care if you are talking about something or not, or what. I do not care to go in the whole commentary section that it is on your stream, where I have to go and search through every single thing and see if what you're talking about or not has already been talked about. I prefer to have it literally on screen in my case. So yeah, I prefer to have it from the viewer's perspective. I would really prefer to have it on screen to be shown to me than to have you personally go and see if what you're talking about is good or not, or if what you're talking about is my topic of interest in that case. So yeah, that is now a real closure. So, fuck, what? Has somebody a little bit of context as to I was I will, okay, context. I am going to write Purple Lavandel. Question itself, why the fuck does she have 80 viewers? What has happened? What's going on? I am pretty sure that isn't the normal amount of viewers. I don't know. Anyways, okay. But I don't know, but no, what the fuck? No, don't make me despair. No, Emma, one view. Anyways, numbers. Yeah. So well, that's it. And this time for real. As always, thanks to everybody. Thanks to those who came, who chatted, those who weren't able to watch the whole stream, but decided to watch the board. Thanks to, as always, also my dear lurkers. Thanks to every single one. So, well, tomorrow, as I said, kind of in a few hours, I will probably stream because I need to stay awake. So we will see how that goes. I will kind of be sleep deprived, but if I don't stream, I will end up oversleeping for my own responsibility. So we do not want that. Uh, so now, raid and wait. Let me copy myself the message of raid. Raid. Goodbye. Bye. Have a great night. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep.